Welcome to Imperfect in an Uncertain World, resources to help you navigate your life with authenticity and purpose. Life is all about relationship. How does the most important one, the relationship with yourself, drive all your other relationships? I want to start with a Margaret Wheatley quote. She says, relationships is all there is. But what happens when our relationship with another person is just hard, when no matter what, our lines of communication are muddled? We just cannot seem to find peace in a relationship with that person. I once had a relationship with a boss that I half jokingly would say, if I told her the sky was blue, she would tell me it was green. Now, in retrospect, the discord wasn't one-sided. I was responding to her in ways that also created discord, and there was an imbalance in our relationship. So I asked myself, how can I be in relationship with this person or someone else who resonates in ways that aren't in alignment with how I resonate? Sometimes we've all been there. We just don't connect to another person. We may say we don't have anything in common with that person, but it's more than that. We're not energetically resonating with them. So maybe no matter what we say, they're not going to understand what we're saying, and there's nothing wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with us. We just can't communicate on deep levels. So why don't we resonate? I believe it's about my imperfections, and that's on me, and the other person's imperfections, which is about them. I also think another way to explain this is that a person once told me that you need to find people to be in relationship with who have baggage that you can live with. And maybe not so much baggage, but that you have baggage that fits one another's. And maybe this baggage is our intuition, is basically not our intuition, but our imperfections. Maybe that's what this baggage is all about. So let's go back to our imperfections. I want to say straight up that imperfections are not a pass for bad behavior. We're not allowed to excuse our behavior because of our so-called imperfections, nor do we look for ways to minimize our imperfections being the catalyst for flipping another person's triggers. We also acknowledge our imperfections and use our awareness of them to stop our triggers from being flipped as well. So let's go back to the truth. We are imperfect. The world is uncertain. How do we manage our imperfections while being our authentic self? First, we take the other person out of the equation. And so you might be saying, Vanessa, how do I do that? They're what's causing all of this. No, I want you to stop that. This is about figuring out why you react in the way you do, which has nothing to do with the other person. They might be saying or doing something that's upsetting you, but you're upset, own you're upset. If they're not pinging off of your triggers and the explosion happens, they can ping all they want. But if you can move your reactions to responses, they're not going to get that reaction out of you. They need to own what they're doing, and you own what you're doing. So what I'd like for you to do is to tell yourself, this really is about me. And say it as often as you need. If you need to put it on a Post-it note or write it somewhere or keep it on your phone so that you can go back to it. This really is all about you. Okay, so it's about you. So what's next? Now I'm going to invite you to dig into the ground of your being, to really get into that soil and really begin to discern why that other person is flipping your switches. What I want you to do is figure out what is at the root of the disagreements. And I'm going to recommend that you do what is in the following. And so you can go back and listen to this. You can make notes, but this is what has worked for me, and I'm going to encourage you to try this yourself. I'm going to ask you to go quiet. Focus on your breath. And allow that breath to flow through you, allow the air to flow through you and make you calm and comfortable. Then I want you to recall a situation that upset you, really got your ire up, something that triggered a reaction in you. And as you recall the situation, ask yourself where you're connected to that person. And simply, if you're saying, I don't understand this, how am I connected? When you're quiet, ask yourself, where did I feel the reaction in my body? You might feel a tightening in your chest. You may feel a throbbing in your head. Or you may be holding the discord somewhere else in your body. Find where it is. And when you find where it is, that is where you are connected to the other person. If you still can't figure it out, that's totally okay. Sometimes this takes a little practice. If you're unsure, I want you to listen. Breathe into your body. Let your breath flow to parts of your body that's reacting. And just be. So you might ask yourself, what emotions am I feeling? What am I hearing in my internal monologue? Just pay attention to that. Then breathe into that part of your body that you're connected to the other person with. Send compassion to that connection. And you might even visualize, say you're feeling it right above your waist on your right side. So you're sending compassion, but you might envision that there's a cord that you can send compassion and love through that to the other person. But most importantly, what I want you to do is to breathe into that part of your body with self-compassion. You might want to place your hands on that part of the body as you breathe. And as the tension begins to release, notice what is hiding beneath it. For me, what I discover sometimes is fear. I might have some feelings of shame, or I might have feelings that I'm just not enough. I just am not enough for this other person. Or what I might discover is something that surprises me. It's something totally different. But as I uncover my feelings, I begin to understand that it is not the person, but my reaction to what I perceive is happening that is the issue. And what I'm going to tell you up front is that sometimes stuff surfaces that you need professional help to release. And that's perfectly okay and necessary. So don't think you have to do this all on your own. Remember, Margaret Wheatley says relationship is all there is. Sometimes you need relationships with a professional. As you practice noticing what your body is telling you, it becomes easier to identify your triggers when they're activated. So maybe you're having a conversation with somebody and it's getting kind of tense, and all of a sudden you just have this searing pain. And that is your cue that things are getting a little intense to take a step back before you react. So as it gets easier to identify your triggers, you're going to find ways to circumvent and respond with compassion. That might take a while. You might get this and you're rolling down and you're being able to switch. You're able to move reactions into responses, and then all of a sudden you get stuck. That's perfectly normal on this journey too. It's important to remember that the process might not make the relationship perfect. It may be what you need to transition a relationship. You may decide not to spend much time with the person or become more of an objective observer when you are interacting with them. But what you're going to find is the more you do this, you're going to receive information to be your authentic self when interacting or in being in relationship with other people. So I want to thank you for watching this video. Like it, share it with your friends, but most importantly, know yourself. Are you ready to learn more? Contact me for intuitive, mindful coaching. More about what I do at www.intentandaction.com. Have a terrific day.